Hello, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we're going to be naming alkynes. Alkynes are unsaturated hydrocarbons that contain at least one carbon-carbon triple bonds. They follow the general molecular formula CnH2n-2. The rules that we use for naming alkynes are: 1. Find the longest chain that includes the triple bond. Number the chain from the end that is closest to the triple bond, and then identify and name substituents, if any. Use the suffix YNE instead of ANE or ENE to indicate the triple bond, and also ensure that you specify the position of that triple bond. So let's look at this example. Example 1. If you're asked to name this compound, the first thing you do, according to the rules, is to find the longest continuous carbon chain. So the longest continuous carbon chain here is just the straight carbons you can see for this one, okay? So all of this, that's your longest continuous carbon chain. Now, secondly, we're going to number the chain, and you make sure you number from the side that is closest to the triple bond. So this will be carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Now identify and name the substituents, if any. There are no substituents here. We just have hydrogens attached to the longest continuous chain, so no substituents. Use the suffix "-ine" instead of ANE or ENE to indicate the triple bond. Now let's put everything together. We have 5. The prefix for 5 carbons is pent. Okay, so we say pent. The triple bond started from carbon 1. So you're going to put a hyphen, then 1. And since this is an alkyne, this is going to end with YNE. And the name of this compound is pent-1-ine. The older way of naming this would have been 1-pentyne. This is also acceptable. Next, you are asked to name this other one. The first step, identify your longest continuous chain. All of these will be my longest continuous chain. Okay, but you have to confirm by numbering and then checking every other side just to make sure that that is your longest continuous carbon chain. So we have to number from the side that is closest to the triple bond, and my right-hand side seems to be closer to the triple bond. So this is going to be 1, 2, this is 3, this is 4, that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I start from this 7 and go up, that's 8, 9. So that means the 10 is still longer. So that's actually my longest continuous carbon chain. So you might be wondering, for those who are new to alkynes, triple bonds should be in a linear form, okay, because of its sp hybridization. When you see this, you might be confused why you have 3 and 4 here and not here, right? But the triple bond is always in a straight line. So you have the 2 carbons here, all right? So those are separate. And then you have the other carbons by the side, okay? So please take note of that. Sometimes we just ignore that and draw it in another way, but this is the right way to draw a triple bond. So the next step is to identify your substituents. And for this compound, we have substituents, okay? So every other line that is outside of the longest continuous chain are the substituents. On carbon 6, I have 1 carbon here. A 1 carbon substituent is called methyl. So this is a methyl group. And you have another one here as well, methyl group. And this is 1 and then 2 carbons, and 2 carbons is ethyl group. So those are the substituents we have for this alkyne. The next step would just be to name them. Now, when it comes to naming, we name the substituents first, okay? And here we have 2 methyl groups and 1 ethyl. When you have 2 different groups of substituents, you have to name them alphabetically. So the ethyl group is going to start, and that is on carbon 7. So that'll be 7-ethyl Then you have 6 on carbon 6 and carbon 8. We have another group. So you put 6 and 8, okay? And that is to show that you have one on carbon 6 and one on carbon 8. Since you have the same group twice, you need to use a prefix to group them. So instead of saying methyl, methyl, I'm going to say dimethyl. So di represents two identical substituents attached. So that's what we use to group them. If you have 3, it will be tri, 4 is tetra, and so on. The next step after putting down the substituent is to name the longest continuous chain, and that is 10 in number. So prefix for 10 carbons is dec. And since this is an alkyne, you must specify the position of the triple bond. So I'm going to go ahead and say dec 3. So the smaller one is what you name, not the 4. Dec 3 ine. So 7 ethyl 6,8 dimethyl dec 3 ine. And that's the name of this compound. Example 3, we are asked to name this compound. Now remember, the first thing you do is identify the longest continuous chain that includes the triple bond. So even if we have one that looks like it's the longest, but it doesn't include the triple bonds, then we can use that. So if you look at this seems to be the longest continuous carbon chain. That is how it looks like, but you can use it because the triple bond is not included. So we're going to count from the side that is closer to the triple bond and then figure out which one is our longest chain. So this is carbon 1. That will be 2. This is 3. This is 4. Now I'm going to count towards the left first. This is 5, and then 6, and then 7. Then I'll count towards the right. This is 5, 6, 7, and 8. So obviously, the right-hand side is the one with the longest continuous carbon chain. So to continue, now we have our longest continuous chain identified. Identify your substituents. This is a substituent, these two are substituents, and this is 1 carbon substituent. Also, on this side, we have another substituent, and this is 1, 2, 3 carbons. So now let's name our substituents. This is fluoro. Chlorine becomes chloro. So as a branch, all halogens becomes halo. So fluorine, fluoro, chlorine, chloro, bromine, bromo, iodine, iodo. Okay? And then 1 carbon branch or a substituent will be methyl group. And then this is 3 carbons. This is prop. Prop is for 3 carbons, so that's propyl. Now we go ahead and name. So since I have different groups of substituents, I'm going to have to arrange them alphabetically. And the first one to be named will be the chloro. So remember, your substituents are named first. So I'm going to go ahead and say 7, 7. The 2 chlorines are both attached to carbon 7. So you must repeat the 7, 1 7 for 1 chlorine and the other 7 for the other chlorine. So you must repeat it, okay? And then, since you have multiple identical substituents in this case, you need to use a prefix to group them. 2 chlorines is going to be dichloro, di for 2. And then the next alphabet would be F. So that is 5 fluoro. Between M and P, which comes first alphabetically? That will be M. So that's 6 methyl. And then the next one is 4 propyl. Once we finish naming the substituent, we're going to go ahead and name the parent chain. We have 8 carbons as our parent chain. That is oct. And then the triple bond started from carbon 2. That would be 2 And since this is a triple bond, the parent name is going to end with Y and E, and therefore this is oct-2-ine. So the name of this compound is 7,7-dichloro 5-fluoro 6-methyl-4-propyl-oct-2-ine. And that is it. All right, so it's time to test yourself. I want you to go ahead and pause this video and try naming this on your own, okay? And let me know if you got it right. I'm going to, of course, name it right here, but I want you to try it on your own and then check the answers. So I'm giving you time to pause now, okay, and try it. All right, let's name it. First thing, identify the longest continuous chain, and we can clearly see the longest continuous chain. So this is closer to the triple bond, so I'm going to start counting from my right. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, that is 4, this is 5, carbon 6, 7, 8, and then 9. On carbon 5, I have 1 carbon substituent, on 7 another 1 carbon substituent, and on 6 another 1, and then same 6 I have 2 carbon substituents attached. 1 carbon substituent is known as methyl group. This is methyl group as well, methyl as well, and this is ethyl for 2 carbons. All right, now name. Starting with the ethyl, okay, E comes first, so 6-ethyl. And then we have 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7. Since I have 3 methyl groups, I'm going to use a prefix, and the prefix will be tri-methyl. And the longest carbon chain is 9. 9 is non. And since this is an alkyne, and the triple bond starts from 2, we're going to say non-2-ine. And that is the name.